It's Thursday the 14th. It's a pretty nice day out at the moment. Kind of windy, but the birds are singing in the background, so that's nice. It's supposed to rain a couple hours and then be rainy the rest of the day, so I figured I'd get an early start on my diary. I was planning on doing one yesterday, and then just the circumstances of the day, in a good way for the most part, just made it get kind of busy in the afternoon. This old 82 Yamaha I've been working on here and there. I got and it had been in storage forever, like 14 years, 15 years, something like that. With the gas, unfortunately, with the gas in it and all that, so things were gunked up and the gas tank was shitty. And I already did the carburetor some time ago, and before I did that, I just want to make sure it would start. And Nathanael and Caleb were with me that day, and like clear the gas tank out as much as I could from the old gas, let the lines drain through, and put some new gas in it, whatever. It actually fired up on about the third start, but it needed a lot from sitting there. So I took the gas tank into this place, Northville Customs, maybe a month ago, and they were gonna acid wash or whatever they do to get all the shit out of it, and then reline it. And it ended up getting some liner on the outside of the tank. So thankfully, their good customer service, they actually sent it to their paint shop place and put a whole new paint job on it. But anyway, that was an unexpected few hours in the day, but I was hoping I could get the bike started after that and put new gas in it and everything. And I'm getting some gas leaking out of the carb somewhere, so I was a little bit bummed about that. But on the good side of things, yesterday, Clay came over, my younger brother, and I guess the reason I'm saying who people are on this, I don't know if anyone's ever going to see this or not. I don't even know if I'll ever want to look at these again. I'm mostly just doing them just to get stuff off my chest, and just in case there's things I want to remember. But I don't know, maybe someday my grandkids or nieces or nephews will watch some of these or whatever, or maybe even strangers, who knows. I think they might be able to help somebody out that's going through the same thing or something similar. I guess that'd be worth sharing them, but I don't know. I don't think I'd ever want to watch it. Anyway, I guess that's why I'm saying who people are. Obviously, I know who Clay is, but Clay's my young brother. He's taller than me, though. But anyway, so he picked up the three youngsters, and they went out to Eagle Creek to do a little hiking, and then came back, and then he and Caleb are gonna cook/grill dinner out. And so we ended up having a good night like that, campfire out back, and sipping some beers and a little bottled in bond whiskey. And so that was nice, and that was what kind of ended up the evening being. And so I didn't do a diary yesterday, and then I got to talk to do the cremation form. It was a little complex, and I've never done any paperwork particularly like that, so I didn't want to send that in unless it was right. So I talked to the lady from the funeral services out there, and she walked me through it to make sure it was done right. So I emailed her those last night. So got some things accomplished yesterday, and then we just kind of relaxed and watched a movie from 9 o'clock on. Didn't get to bed too late, which was great. Got decent sleep, and I think yesterday, I made it till about 12:30 before something hit me. No, that's not correct. I was on the way back from picking up my motorcycle tank, and that was maybe maybe 11:30. Now that I'm getting my thinking here straight. That's why I want to do these diaries, because these days run into one another. But yeah, I was coming back from there over on Gasoline Alley, and in Angie's car, which has all of our CDs and shit in it. I was popping different CDs in, and then of course there was like, ones that I was like, oh, Nathanael liked this song and whatever, and then that started messing with me, and so I was having a little crying and remembering session in the car there, and pulled over and got a little something to drink, so I was thirsty, and anyway, that was yesterday, and then today I actually went to Goodwill for the first time since they've reopened. Charity needed to go get some pants or something for work, and she was going to try Goodwill before going to the regular store. So me and her and Angie went over there, and a buddy of mine that we've been buddies for maybe a year and a half, he works there managing. He's a real good guy. Which he had made a comment on one of my initial posts last week about Nathanael passing away. Sincere condolences. He seems like sometime last year he lost his brother, and I remember, the first time I saw him in the store after that, and we're Facebook friends, so I saw that on Facebook, and I told him, of course, I was sorry, and and hopefully I never lose a brother. I only have one. Told him I was sorry, genuinely, and if he wanted to grab coffee, which we occasionally grab coffee and done some bullshit. But he came up, well, he saw me and walked over and, said he wanted to tell me in person, that he was sorry, and just, if he could do anything. I'm trying to, I don't know if turn this will help the win situation or not. It's probably frivolous. So, we might grab some coffee sometime, and I told him thanks. All that. But, since it's getting ready to rain, maybe in an hour or two, I thought I'd walk down here, and I was coming west on 40 on the sidewalk, and it's the same way when especially when my dad died. It's like you don't have to be necessarily already thinking about the person that you've lost. You don't have to be sitting there stewing on it, or lost in that thought, because especially when you're around places that you've done things together and been places together and gone on walks together, maybe rode in this car together, did this, and this, it's like anything can bring, their memory back. And so as I was walking down here, I don't even remember exactly what the first thought was that came to mind, but I remember when my dad died, for whatever reason, the Beatles song Black, and I'm not even a huge, I like the Beatles, but I'm not like a Beatles fanboy or something, But some of my favorite songs are Beatles songs. Of course, they have 10 million songs, so that's easy to do. But when he passed away, the song just was constantly in my mind was Blackbird. Because he dealt with a lot of shit in his life, and he left obviously too early. Well, he didn't leave, he died. But there were just certain aspects of that song that resonated, and then with Nathaniel's situation, I've just been singing to myself and out loud, just walking around. Yesterday by the Beatles, not so much the part about the chick, but which that's what the whole song's about, but more of just the first verse and chorus and and all that. And anyway, I was humming along on that, and some memory came to my mind, and I just started crying. I just happened to look at my phone. I was like, it's 12:57. I was like, well, that's the farthest I've made it. So I don't know if you call that progress. I don't think it's progress. It's just, it just is what it is. But yeah, so I wanted to come down here and get this little thing done. But yeah, I mean, well, and then Greg, uh, my buddy from Goodwill, he asked me, how I'm doing, and all that, and which I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, kind of like your standard, I'm doing all right or whatever, but I added because, he's someone that we've talked about deeper things together here and there. I'm not just trying to give him the bullshit answer. I said, but in all these things, all these answers, the caveat is always under the circumstances, so I'm keeping my shit together under the circumstances. Um, but then I was thinking about, excuse me, because when I was having a little sidewalk cry on the way down here, it's like, I'm crying in sorrow of the loss of Nathanael. But the memory that I had that was making me miss him was a joyful memory. I think it was last year or early this year, I don't know. I wrote this poem, and it was some situation where, for all I know, I was thinking about my dad. I don't know. But, here it is 11 years later, and, it's like the whole cliche, time heals all wounds thing. I don't know, maybe. I think it's more time makes the wounds tolerable. Time teaches you how to mitigate the sorrow, hopefully. Time it dulls the sting, but the throbbing is still there. The pain, I think, shifts from the acuteness of it to more of a dull roar. Um, but I think if you truly deeply loved a person, I don't think it ever goes away. And why the fuck should it go away? Why should it go away? You know, uh, I mean, death is no less a part of life than birth. No less. And every person walking the planet is gonna fucking die. They've got a death sentence now. Live. I mean, what Nathaniel had tattooed on his knuckles. Live life. I mean, ring it out. You know. But anyway, so I wrote this poem because it's like, and I'm sure that the utility of the English language doesn't fail us, but I just couldn't find the right word to describe that emotion, where you have these equivalent emotions at the same time, simultaneously, of sorrow and joy, and these things are um, they're dancing in you presently, and so I just concocted this fusion word called weep singing. And I was thinking, it's like singing isn't just something obviously you do when you're sad. It isn't something, well, you would do it more often, you would think, when you're happy, when you're joyful. You know? But you also do it when you're sad. You've got the blues, and then you've got joyful songs, and uh, and then when you weep, you don't just weep because you're sad. You tend to think of singing more because you're joyful, and you tend to think of weeping more because you're sad, and that's probably true. But there's crossover, and sometimes you're doing both at the same time. You're weeping and you're singing, and it's not just for sorrow and it's not just for joy, it's both of them. And so I guess that's what I was doing earlier. But anyway, I don't know. There's all the regular life stuff that you got to do anyway, and then when you have these other things going on to do with the grieving process and contracts for how do it's, I don't know if he's the only one or if there's more. It's a Plainfield bicycle cop. I rarely see. I don't think we have a lot of bicycle cops around here. But anyway, I guess this is not the most remarkable diary here, but just and then Angie, she found she was really happy this morning, and also crying like she does. She was weep singing because must have been on Mother's Day. Lydia had written this, just a handwritten note on maybe I don't know what size it is, like a stationary size, that big a piece of paper, and it was front and back, just telling Angie what a great mom she was and how much she loves her, and just all kinds of little things about the times they spend together, and all this. So, and she just hit it over where Angie's writing her own little memories down right now. So she found it today, and that was really sweet, which all the kids are really sweet. They take after their mom. But goddamn, I'd like to get this fucking motorcycle running. It's like sometimes you just need some wins. And Than was there when when I started it, the first time, and he was excited to see it run, and it was running shitty, but I took it out around the block and it died a couple times, and I got it fired back up, and then the boys were there waiting on me by the driveway when I came back around, so it would just feel good to have that old iron horse thumping. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna go over here and try to catch up on some poetry at Oasis. Now you can sit down inside again. So maybe the Doherty booth's open. If not, they'll shove me in whatever corner they need me in. Do a little right. Until next time.